dynamic programming. We have discussed that basically it uses a bottom-up approach for solving its problem, unlike the most of the recursive approach which are top-down approaches. Now, when we go for a top-down approach, then there is an issue with the performance of the algorithm. We have also discussed that. So, the better solution is you should go for the bottom-up approach, and dynamic programming is a technique which uses this approach for majority of its solutions. So, but there is a precondition, and that precondition is given by this principle, which is called principle of optimal. First, dynamic programming was first invented by Richard Bellman. This principle was actually the base of that first approach. What it says that an optimal policy has the property that whatever the initial state and initial the decision must constitute an optimal policy with regard to the state resulting from the first decision. It's a very initial state and initial decision space. So let's say if it's a short array of or the elements, list of elements is an initial state. So whatever may be your initial state and initial decision are, but at every instance you should have some sort of feature or some policy or some parameter which will allow you to take an optimal decision. This is not the right way to understand the principle. There is a second definition as well, which says that in some problem state, components of a globally optimal solutions are themselves globally optimal. Dynamic programming, there is a this is more three are the same definition. That is the definition of principle of optimality. What this particular definition says, given an optimization problem. So first thing is very clear that dynamic programming applies to the optimization problem, whether it's minimum spanning, whether it's or job scheduling or an abstract, or there are too many cases that as well. But it is aligned to the optimization problem, that is the precondition. So given an optimization problem and given an associated function combined, the principle of optimality holds if the following is always true. What is that? S, capital S, is your final solution. There is a combined function to which you are giving something as an input, that is an S1, Sn. What is S1 and Sm, S1, S2 up to solution to the associated problems. So we are studying a divide and conquer approach. What do you do divide and conquer? You divide the main problem into sub-problems and then you solve individual sub-problems. I think in the initial classes we have discussed that dynamic programming is similar to divide and conquer approach only when it comes to the divide in the problem statement. But not is that combined function. Here in case of dynamic programming, combined function you always gives you guarantee that the solution will be always optimal. As this property, which is called principle of optimality, then that problem can be solved using dynamic programming. Even if you don't need to understand, even if you don't understand what exactly the statements are, what it means is that if you want to solve any problem using dynamic programming, that particular problem has to have this property. What it says, what that property says, you divide your problem into sub-problems, and finally you solve that individual sub-problem. If you are getting the optimal result, then final result is going always optimal. अगर ऐसी कोई property है problem की, then that problem can be solved using dynamic programming. We are having this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 problem statement for dynamic programming. We'll be discussing each of these one by one. First is calculating the binomial coefficient. Now, what do we mean by binomial coefficient? We are not going into the detail of mathematics, but the problem is, this is your binomial formula. A plus b raised to n is equal to a raised to 1 c and k coefficients. Coefficients are c and 0, c and k up to c. But these coefficients have a well-known property, and that property is three equations. What are those equations? C and 0 is 1, C 0 is 1. So this is the first property. 4, 4. It's always. And there is a third property which says that value of nk can be derived from its previous values. So C and k is equal to C n minus 1, k minus 1 plus C n minus 1 and k. So if I write the recursive algorithm for this, then what will be the algorithm? What will be the parameters? What you are finding? C and K. So N and K will be two parameters. I think that algorithm is there. Yes, it is there. So if I go for the recursive approach, if I find out these are binomial for any given N and K, then the recursive solution can be, because our property says that n0 is 1 and n is 1. So first you will check whether what is the value of k. If the value of k is 0 or if the value of k is n, then the output is 1. So that is your base condition. So if you write the if k is equal to 0 or k is equal to n, then return 1. Otherwise return, you have to compute this. Give you the value n with parameters as n minus 1 and k minus 1, and same thing which n minus 1 and k. But similar to its exponential.
Sir,
Sir, you are not audible.
સર તમારો માઇક મ્યુટ છે.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
So, so I told you that first we require a for loop that will simply run between first row to last row, and second for loop that is nested for loop, which will not go till k. K is your actual input, which basically you are interested in comparing values up to k. But this particular inner loop should not go till either at I or at k. Remember? This, and it will simple loop will run. So you require one external loop which will actually run from 0 to n, and then second loop which will run from 0 to minimum of I and k, whatever is the minimum. Then you will apply that three properties. What was one? NCN is 1 and NCK is n minus 1 k plus n minus 1 and k. So that means or equal to j. Ultimate row k is on column. So if that is true, then aij is equal to 1. Otherwise, aij is equal to this. Right? What will be the time complexity? Second, loop is going to run maximum for every iteration. Second inner loop I am talking about. Huh? Minimum of I and k, but what will be the maximum value? Which one is the highest row in this? How many times this is going to run? K times. So basically this loop, that means this inner loop is going to run k times. So if you want to tell precisely the time complexity, the time complexity is, if you are showing in terms of big O notation, worst case scenario, then it's big O of n square you can say, because n and k both are some values. Or if you want to find out more precise, more tighter bound theta time complexity, then it will be theta and k. You getting? So the time complexity for this algorithm is going to be big O of nk you can say, or you can also say theta of and K, right? Any doubt in this? It's a very simple, straightforward. First problem is very straightforward. You just need to remember those three properties. And we are constructively building it using this program. Okay. The next problem is making change problem. Now here it's change doesn't mean some revolution. It's about છૂટા ગુજરાતીમાં જેને આપણે કહીએ, right? So basically this is problem where you are supposed to give some amount to some customer, but so you are paying or you are supposed to give some amount to a customer, but the objective is you should use the smallest possible number of coins because customer is not ready to take more number of coins. You getting? So there is an amount, let's say 100 or let's say 67, but to give that 67 rupees, you should use minimum number of coins, right? Now, when you are talking about coins, then it comes the denomination. Denomination means what is the unit of or the amount for a single unit. So you have 1 rupee coin, 2 rupee coin, 5 rupee coin, 10 rupee coin, because the denomination also affects the number of coins. So based on that, in this problem statement, we have two variations. First variation is given a fixed denomination, unlimited supply of coins. So denomination is fixed. Let's say 1, 2, 5, but the supply is unlimited. That means the problem has, or in particular, this particular problem statement, you have infinite number of coins available for each denomination, right? If that is the case, then solution may be, what is the solution? Fixed denomination, infinite supply. You want to minimize the number of coins. How you are going to start? Yes. Why 10? 10 or 5? No, it depends on, see, that just for the understanding, you can say that there are any number of coin denomination available. Let's say 1 rupee coin is available, 2 rupee coin is available, 4 rupee coin is available, 6 rupee coin is available. But problem is, अगर आपको minimize करना है number of coins, then आप कहाँ से start करेंगे? The largest one. So you will start with the largest denomination. Let's say if you want to pay 67 rupees, and if there is a coin available for 80 rupees, then you will start with the which one? 80. First you will start with 80. Then you will compare that whether I can use this coin or not. That depends on what? The amount which I am supposed to pay. So 67 cannot be paid using coin 80. Right? So you will go for the next best. So let's say there is a 65 rupee coin available. Then you will compare that 65 with 67. Can I pay this using 65 rupee coin? Yes. So you will select that coin. Put it in some, you will give it to the customer. Is that over? No. You are still supposed to give some amount back. So you will deduct that. 67 was the initial amount. Then you will deduct the amount of the coin which you have given or selected. That is 65. So 67 minus 65. That will make it 2. That means still I am supposed to give amount 2 to the customer. What will be the next point I will be looking at? Less than 65, whatever is available. Let's say 40 is available. Can I select 40? How are you saying that? Because the amount which you are supposed to give right now that is 2, is greater than the coin denomination you are selecting. So when you are traversing the coins, there are two options always. First, either you will select that coin like you have selected for 65, or you will skip that coin like you have skipped for 80 and 45. Right? Based on your choice, you will build some values and finally you can derive the solutions, which will minimize the number of coins. So that is the approach which is used in the first version, which is the same version which we are going to discuss. But there is another version as well, which says given a different series of denomination but limited supplies. So denomination are fixed, but then you have a limited supply. And so in that case, you should make a counter for the supply as well. Let's say if you are supposed to give 230, but there is only 180 rupee coin available. You can't just give at any unlimited supply of 80. You have to keep a count on what is available. So now supply is limited. So now your algorithm will change, because now you have to count how many coins are available as well. उसमें क्या था, हम सिर्फ ये देख रहे थे कि कितना अमाउंट अभी बाकी है देना, because we are not worried about the supply of coins but the availability of coins. But here you have to keep the track of both. What is the amount to be paid and what is the supply I am having. Based on that, the algorithm will be changed. So here, this particular case, we are not discussing the second version. It is not there as a part. You can write your own algorithm for that, maybe in labs. But for at least for a syllabus perspective, we are going to discuss the first version. That means a fixed denomination and unlimited supply. So you should not be worried about whether that coin denomination is available or not. It's infinitely available. Okay, there are two approaches. One is a greedy approach and second is dynamic approach. Okay, so this is the approach which we have discussed just now. That use the largest number of coins. You start with the largest number of coin or largest denomination. If that particular coin is available for selection, then select it and change your current state. Right? 47 was the amount which we are supposed to give. We have given the coin of 45. So now my remaining amount is 2. So the same approach is used here. If you observe this, you have set of coins. So I think there is a mistake. Set of coins is it's basically an amount. So this is n is the amount which you are supposed to pay. Objective is to find out what should be the set of coins should be given to the customer so that number of coins are minimized. That is the objective. These are the denominations available: 100, 25, 10 and 5. So these are the 4 denominations available. We have already sorted that in the descending order. Initially we will start with the solution as 5, that is blank. That means initially there is nothing in the customer's hand which you have given. Okay, it's blank. You will keep another track, that is S, which is sum of items of S. That means this particular variable will keep a track of what is the exact amount I have given back via coin selection. This is the total amount which I am supposed to give, but this is the current amount which I have given back. That is small s. Okay. So basically you are required to compare this to S is not equal to N. So while your current doesn't becomes total, you will keep running this loop. What you are doing inside the loop, will select the largest items from this set such that S, what is S? Current amount which is being given. It's already been given to the customer. Plus X. X is the denomination of this coin. So let's say currently I have given 45. Then I have selected 15 rupee coin. So that will make it 45 plus 15, 60, 60. Then I will compare that 60 with original amount which I am supposed to give. So 45 plus 15, let's say it's 60, and I am supposed to give 50 rupees. So I will check. Basically, I am checking here whether this X can be used or not. If it can be used, then you will select it. In a case, if you don't find any such coins which can be given to the customer, if X is equal to null, then the solution will be not solution found. Let's say you are supposed to give odd amount 69, and there are no coins available with odd denomination. Then no matter what number of coins you use, you will not be able to derive the solution. So this is that case. You are not able to find any such coins. Let's say if your minimum denomination is 4, and you are supposed to give 3 rupees, 2 rupees, 1 rupees. In any of that case, this solution will not be possible. So this is that case. Otherwise, you will simply say S is equal to S union, the coin amount which you have selected, and small s is equal to S plus X. Finally, when this loop is over, either you will come out of the loop from this statement, no solution found, or you will come out from this loop via S is equal to N. So in that case, you will return S. Now this approach is basically a greedy approach. Why? Right, because it basically deals with the current situation only. Let me give you an example in which this approach will not work. Okay, see this case. Let's say coin denominations available are 1, 3 and 4. So there are 3 coin denominations available. Amount which I am supposed to give is 6. As per our solution, I will select first which coin? Maximum. So 4. Right? Once I select that coin 4, then can I select this 3? No. Because my remaining amount is 6 minus 4, 2. Because my remaining amount is 2, I cannot select this 3. So I have to go for 1. So then I will select 1 rupee coin. So that will make it remaining as 1. And again I will require to select the same coin because there is an unlimited supply. So we should not worry about how many coins are available. But ultimately the solution which I can generate via that approach is 4, 1, 1. How many coins are used? 3. Is this optimal? Is this optimal? Optimal means, can you have any other solution which is better than this? Yes, that is possible. Which one? This one. That you give 2, 3 rupees coin, that will make it count as 2, and still you can pay amount as 6. That's why we say that greedy may not give every time the optimal solution. This was the greedy approach, right? That's why it will not work. So we need a better approach which is given by dynamic programming. Okay, we'll discuss that in next class. Any doubt till this point?